Good evening. We are here in a small apartment in Sweden, in Stockholm, where we were today at the Swedish Environmental Nacka Court, giving evidence, submitting evidence relating to the development of the nuclear waste repository in Forsmark. And my own evidence was about the failure of the radiation risk model and how they can't permit this to go ahead because of all the effects that it will have on people living near the Baltic Sea, because the Baltic Sea will become more radioactively contaminated than it already is. So that's what I was doing.
And I'm Leif of Gotland, monarch of Sweden, and
I'm Ditta of Gotland, and I am Konna of Latvia. And today we, all of us three, were there in Nacka at the Land and Environment Court. It was a historic event, it really was, because it was a big hall full of very competent people, technically, thinking what to do with the nuclear waste. That is a question that hasn't been solved still. But we dared to leave in a decision today to the people who were trying to pretend to be judges, but whom we officially said that they have to legitimize their structure, and they have to legitimize themselves as loyal to the people and indigenous of this region. And they refused to do it.
yes, they did. They did.
And but anyway, we are getting into the grip with the regime. We are lovingly touching it and showing a better way.
Yes.
So please, Leif, tell a bit, what do you think is a better way?
First we have to very shortly describe what we see as the problem, and that is of course a corporate world that where those who control the international money, it was said already, I think, in the 1800s, that I care not who's on the throne, I only care that I control the money. And that hasn't changed for at least 100 years, most certainly longer. So those who control the money, they control the politics, they control the laws, they control what is called the laws, because it can't be real laws if it's not equal to everyone, if not every people is treated the same.
And if we haven't accepted those laws.
Yes, and if we haven't accepted those laws.
They are not laws, they are just... what is the other word I'm looking for?
Rules? I don't know.
Rules, maybe, yeah. They're not laws, they are rules. They are...
legislation.
Legislations, they are... When you play a game, you accept rules, yeah?
Yeah.
There is no other way in English, the word.
There is a difference between different kinds of law in England. It's the word escapes me, but legislation is one word. I forget the word, but there is a word for things that only go through a corporate structure, not through a real court.
Through a corporation?
Yeah, it goes through a corporation. I mean, it's a kind of corporate law. So in England you have common law, and that's closer to what you had before Magna Charta. Before Magna Charta, you had essentially indigenous courts.
Did you?
Well, only in the sense that there were much smaller units. I mean, in those times, you would have to have been tried by the local landholder. I suppose it was a feudal system, so you answered to the feudal head of a particular area. That wasn't always good, of course. It depended upon who it was. You know?
Of course.
And a lot of that led to the promulgation of more universal laws. You know, because you could have a really bad guy in one place and a good guy somewhere else.
We had different laws.
But at least you could leave that person and go somewhere else.
No, you couldn't, no, because they had laws that said you couldn't do that.
That's true, you had it in Sweden also. But interestingly, anyway, there were different laws in different parts. So even if you were not allowed to, you could run away.
But then you would be captured and bad things would happen to you. There were some terrible things happened during the feudal system.
But now you can't even take a train or a bus without writing your personal number.
The point about the feudal system is that it operated through a vertical structure that involved religion.
But it's good that you mentioned the feudal system because the thing we want to get before is the feudal system. That is the rule by whoever has the most power, and we want to go back to where we had where people met a few times each year and decided matters. At least, okay, not everyone was free, but even the bond servants then had it better in some respects than the wage slaves today.
Because somebody had responsibility over them.
Yes.
They had to feed them, they had to give them work. But now nobody has to. People just work endlessly without getting wages.
Well, it strikes me that you're looking towards some sort of tribal system, like if you like the Cherokee.
Yeah, we are restoring tribes, definitely. Yeah.
Well, and so there would be a council of elders, and then they would decide on various things.
Yeah.
And ultimately the power would reside with a chief, and those chiefs were linearly descended from each other, but occasionally one of them get knocked on the head and somebody else would become the chief. So.
And Christians have been killing them, so they have been sort of exterminated almost. But then there are these courts that we are driving now. So we have Baltic Sea indigenous courts, and we have fabulous movements as Leif, the monarch,
it's like a people's court, isn't it?
has proclaimed his monarchy of Sweden.
Yes. The nation has been abandoned by those we expected should take responsibility and have responsibility. And today it's hopeless to find anyone in Sweden who take responsibility. Everyone in supposed power, they shirk responsibility. They won't answer, or they say that
Make excuses.
They make excuses. That's not our table.
Yeah, always.
That's always someone else who is responsible, and that someone else maybe doesn't even exist. So
Never you can find anybody. Yeah, so it's very nice that you decided to.
I decided to take responsibility since no one else did.
That's so wonderful. I feel so good now because it's so fatherly of you. The nation needs the father, the loving father. and you are really up to it. And so the nation of Swedes have their loving indigenous king now, the monarch, Leif of Sweden. And
did that happen today?
Yeah,
the proclamation is written today.
Yeah. This is the proclamation. It's many pages.
Something like 20, yeah?
Yeah, 29, I think it was.
It has constitution and it has the money of, that is oxa, that is not a debt. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually quite well thought out how the seed to the transformation from what we have now. It's not just a guillotine, but a way to go from one system to another.
Yeah, it's a parallel way, so you don't have to jump off the previous system. You can take it in your own manner.
And it's done in a way that if people refuse to stop defending what we have decided is a criminal system, at least we say that we have the right to live in a just system.
That's right.
And if they refuse to leave this system, we say we have the right to live according to our laws. It's even in your laws, we say, because it is in their laws.
And
well, they would just say that you're outlaws then, wouldn't they, and arrest you if you did anything serious.
No, they wouldn't, because now, today as well, 20,000 military from United States, France and Canada have come on to Swedish land. And they are doing this without agreement of Swedish people, and ministers of Sweden have no impact on them, and the parliament has no impact on them. It's some kind of NATO game, and they can do whatever they please here. And people are very upset about this. And Putin has launched 11 missiles, nuclear...
Well, he hasn't launched them, but he has activated them.
Sorry, yeah. He has activated the launch of missiles in case he gets killed.
You mean the perimeter system?
Yeah. On the 3rd of September this happened. And this is all happening, and people don't want to take this anymore.
People don't know, that's true.
This is a planned mass murder. And that's why we have the right to stop the murderers. And we are taking the loving and responsible road.
Yes, and I want to touch on what you said, that they'll just get rid of us. The interesting situation in this country is that the people that's supposed to take responsibility, they are so, we call it in Swedish, they are so flat. Now I mentioned another group, the Muslims. They claim that they have the right to live by their laws in their areas in Sweden.
Yeah.
And this is happening now. This is a real fact, and the authorities, they let them because they are afraid of them. So when we as indigenous say that we have at least as much rights as the Muslims, there is...
we don't get them. We don't have even one church. We don't have even one school. Everything is taken away from us.
There is a current example that people know about, that we can show, that we can use to show we must have the right that the Muslims have. We must have more rights.
And
This is our country.
there is one more very obvious thing, and that is when these military forces are now coming, and you realize that we don't have food in case the war starts.
Well, there is no
And there is
preparation.
nothing-
The authorities
there are no
say that
preparations.
people are responsible themselves to prepare, but at the same time, a lot of people are kept so down economically that it's not possible for
But doesn't it seem to you that the whole business of flooding the whole country with the Muslims and all the other people who come here is actually part of the plan?
Yes, it is.
You know, and so the idea that you give the Muslims some place where they can live according to their rules is actually also part of the
Yes,
plan.
it is.
Because what it does is it fragments what you would call the indigenous people.
Yes, it's
And
the
it dissipates their energy and gives them no way in which they can get back at, you know.
Yeah, but you can always use the other part's agenda.
Well, no, they won't let you. That's the point. So when you want to form your new indigenous church, and when you say I am a pagan and I want to have a pagan church and all these things, they will not go along with that because their plan is not to do that. Their plan is the opposite. Their
Yeah.
plan is to destroy.
Yeah, but the people in
This
the
is a war
structures.
plan. This
yes.
is a war plan.
Yes. There's somebody behind that.
Yes.
I think so.
And it is more than that. We have this Barbara Spectra from Pandea Society who has openly said that Jews are leading the multicultural mix of Europeans with other races.
But they don't do it in Israel.
No, they don't do it for themselves. They are creating their own only chosen race that will rule all other mixed up race.
Yeah. Well, it's quite to have a plan, isn't it?
Very clever con. And now they are coming with military to get their apocalyptic events.
Actually, it gets even worse. I got word from a friend in Croatia that the Pope wants to change. It is still so that indigenous people have the right, even if you are genetically from a certain land area, even if you have moved to the other part of the world, it's still so that you have a special claim to your indigenous land.
Yeah, of course.
The Pope wants to change that in his, what he says is right.
Canon law.
So that if you get a child when you are on vacation in Kenya, that's a Kenyan.
I see, okay.
Even if it's ethnogenetically yours.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I tell you the funniest thing there, because Putin is onto this, and the latest thing from Putin is he's giving land in eastern Russia to people in America. So he says that he says that America has become a godless country. Okay, it's very clever, this guy, and he says that we are now the centre of the religious centre of the world, and we believe in God, and so anybody who's had enough in America, who can show that at some point they had some Russian ancestry, okay, they get 2.5 hectares of land free in eastern Russia. Now this is part of Russia where they've got all of these, resources. They're just no people living there, you see. But with global warming, it's all getting warmer, and anyway, you've got technology, so that what you really need is people. So he's going to get all the Americans to go and live in Russia and become Christians under the Orthodox religion. I think that's absolute scream.
Yeah, but at the same time, the Baltic states are getting rid of people, and
the Baltic states have always been at the sort of centre of aggro, because they're kind of like they're sitting there between the Slavics and the West, and they've always been fought over. The Germans go there, then the Russians go there, then the Germans go back, and then you've got Prussians, in that part of Russia now that's on the Baltic.
Croatia.
What's it called? My mind's gone,
Kaliningrad?
Yeah, Kaliningrad,
Yeah,
so that's always been an area that's been fought over, and it's now being fought over economically.
There's military operation going on there.
That's right.
So we have approximately 100,000 military people now in the area of Baltic states and Baltic Sea region.
It's very frightening.
And the nuclear warheads are activated.
I'd like to it's in Swedish, but I'll translate. I'll read a part of the proclamation here, translated to English. Leif of Gotland and monarch of Sweden is also the defense minister and chief over existing defense structures. General Michael Biden is ordered to inform NATO and Russia that Sweden now is a peaceful zone that may not be invaded or practiced on. The monarchy of Sweden have not entered into any agreements about such and does not allow such. This includes the so-called Aurora 70. If such activity happen anyway, then this is an act of war and a declaration of war against a peaceful nation. If such invasion still happens, all loyal to the nations should help to make inventory of every material that is landed. Especially nuclear weapons and heavy narcotics should be looked after. Any heavy narcotics found should, under video filming, be inventoried and burned on place. Nuclear weapons must immediately be taken home again from where they came. Foreign soldiers should be sent home again, and Swedish soldiers offered interimistic to keep their position if they are loyal to Gotland's indigenous peoples, etc.
Interimistic decisions or what? Interimistic what?
In the transit between systems. Later they must really show that they understand the rights of Gotlanders.
Yeah. So there are the rights of Gotlanders as well, and there is constitution, and there is money, and there are indigenous courts.
Yes.
And you can see these documents on www.LoveOrder.INFO. And thanks so much that you have saved us. We have been so afraid.
Yes, but it's still, I alone can't send home the soldiers, so we need.
They need me.
Yeah!
I could just say, go home, soldiers.
Yeah,
and that's it.
and they will go.
That's right.
By the way, your son, isn't he in the troops?
He is, well, yes he is, he's a paratrooper. Yeah. He's Captain Joe.
Where? Isn't he coming here?
No. They put him in charge of teaching some people how to be paratroopers.
In England?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
he's not shooting anyone.
But then there is this court case that of Baltic Sea Indigenous Court that we have two teams, Swedish team and Latvian team, and right now there is enormous court case going on in the that is being done by Latvian team with approximately 500 criminal. They are sort of what is the name? They are suspects, criminal suspects. Or how do you say? Accused. Yeah. So approximately 500 accused in the court. That is the court where my Rietuma family has told about the crimes that the system has committed. The regimes of Baltic Sea region have committed against Rietuma family. And we have been writing down the responsibles, the corporations, the government people who have been totally destroying our lives, and we are inviting them to give evidence on how did they get so corrupt.
Yeah. And I want to mention, some people may think it's strange to form one's own courts, but the thing is, there is a principle that says that if you can't get justice, you're entitled to form justice. And there is so many cases where it's demonstrated clearly for anyone who looks through the cases, where people are just rolled over, and as long as no one stands up for them, they are alone and they get cut down one by one by one by one. And I have seen so many cases because I network with people who, and I've read many people's court cases, I've read all the documents, and I can see it's impossible that they should be treated like that. And even if they manage in the court, I'm thinking especially of one case, unjust accused of embezzling the tax authority, and eventually they won in court, costing them many millions of their own kroners.
God.
And still they are in debt to the court, because to the tax authority, because the tax authority, according to the Swedish dissolved government, they don't have to wait for a court order, and they can decide that they have their thinking is right. So even if someone wins, they can still extract money. And in this case, okay, they got it right on the first thing, but due to that they had to put themselves into debt to defend themselves, and it all ended up so that they lost everything anyway.
Gosh. It is designed to rob you.
Yes.
Best to have nothing then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If you have nothing in the system, and that's exactly it. If you have nothing in the robber system, because this system is built to rob you, if you have nothing in the robber system, then okay, it's
a powerful position.
Yes.
It is the only powerful position, but of course it's not either, because we are now made poor. I have right to have car, I have right to have gardens and houses and have horses, maybe have
Horses?
yeah, maybe I want to have animals, you know. I would like to have a garden and a yard, but I can't achieve anything. They have made me so poor, and that's the fault of the regime. No more. Now we are holding the Baltic Sea Indigenous Court in Latvia, and the criminals who are robbing us, who have deported 1 million of Latvians in 25 years with their cruel systems, they will have to answer.
Yes.
That's it. 3 horses for all the people.
Well, actually, that was just one example, because different people need different things to express.
I just need love. That's all. I don't need anything else.
All I need is love.
And cranberries.
But different people need different things to express themselves and develop in life. And for Dita it's horses and gardens, and for someone else it's something else. But we need to be able to flower.
And to thrive.
And to thrive.
Actually, I'm flowering quite well.
Make this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so we're getting our resources back. We're getting our laws back. We will decide what our laws are. We will not listen to unidroids or some bio-robotizing parliaments that will be telling us what they decide our laws are.
You need a song, that's what you need.
Yeah.
You need a song.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll work on it.
And today we had a fabulous day in the court.
I'm exhausted.
And I haven't slept previous night, not 1 minute. But
see, what you people don't realise is how difficult it is to get up there and to do all this stuff. You know? I mean, it's hard work. It takes it out of you. It just actually sucks the blue fluid out of you.
Yes.
Blue fluid that keeps you going and makes you energised and so on.
But the gods give it again. I just look at me. I haven't slept, and I just I'm connected.
Yeah, well, okay.
But
the
point is,
I'm not like that. I feel like I'm going to fall off my chair.
But the point is,
and he looks like he's already fallen off.
and it is late.
Yeah.
But to wrap it all up, the gods are with us.
Oh yeah, the other thing is red wine. Sorry, not just love.
No. No alcohol, no cigarettes. We are living pure, loving life.
Right, okay.
And may the gods be with us.
May the gods be with